Hello, I'm Arthur Julius Pendragon, and welcome to today's video. So, I know it's been a while, but with the sudden news coming out today, I thought it was about time that I made another discussion video. Today, I will be looking at the breaking news on our long-awaited TCG ban list. I'll also discuss the recent OCG ban list, and finally, I want to make a clarification on link summoning, which I think I really need to go over. So, starting with the big news then. As many of you know, we in the TCG have been painfully awaiting a ban list. It's been a whole 7 months since our last, back in August, and just for comparison, in the OCG game, they've had 3 lists in that time. So it really has been a long time coming. So let's have a look at a breakdown of the changes announced just an hour ago as I write this. So with the ban cards, this time we're looking at the long-suspected Keyring Ban. Not so much of a surprise there, a lot of people have been expecting that one, myself included. And Vanity's Emptiness is also leaving us. So that's going to be making quite a lot of changes to the metagame. And also in line with the most recent OCG ban list, Neptune has also been forbidden. Onto limited cards. We have down from semi-limited, Max C, and cards returning from previously forbidden are Rescue Cat, Brionic, Brain Control, Future Fusion, and Imperial Order. So moving on to semi-limited, we have Wisdom Eye Magician coming back up from limited, that's quite interesting. Zodiac Rapier has been brought down from unlimited to semi-limited, and as has Kaiju Slumber, Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. And finally, previously banned, now unlimited, our Errata Sangan has finally returned to our shores. So let's talk a little bit about that list. Well, for me this one does meet some real changes. I mainly play Metal Foes at the moment, so I now need to find a replacement for 5 cards. Kirin is not really a surprise on the ban list this time. I think everyone's been expecting it to go, and with links around the corner, I just couldn't really see a way for Kirin to remain in that sort of world. So not much of a surprise. That, for me and many other Pendulum users, also means removing the 3 Bumbuku that we have in our decks to search for him. And I'm also going to have to be removing Vanity's Emptiness because that's in my deck as well. Now this one in particular is quite a controversial card. Floodgate, that rubs a lot of people up the wrong way, so yeah, it's not a healthy part of the game, so that's fair enough. I would have liked to have seen Anti-Spell Fragrance leaving with it. I think that card's just as bad, or even worse perhaps, but worse certainly for a Pendulum user, or it really hurt me when I played Blue Eyes as well. But you can't really have everything, can you? Looking over the other cards in the list, you do need to take the returns a bit of with a pinch of salt, because although a lot of cards like Future Fusion, Brain Control, and so on seem quite surprising, that if you're not aware, there are card erratas that are out, so do make sure you're aware of the card erratas before you start going crazy thinking that we're going back to the dark old days. Sangan's also back. Again with an errata that means you can't use the card that you searched for with as effect the turn that you activate as effect. So Maxi coming down from semi-limited, well, it was moved from unlimited to semi-limited last time. It's still a useful card. Regarding the Wisdom Eye, that one's quite interesting. A really powerful card for the Magician's archetype, so I don't think anyone that plays that archetype, and I have friends who play that archetype, I don't think they'll be complaining with that. I think they'll be quite pleased. Kaiju Slumber, well, that's probably not that surprising, especially again with links around the corner. It could be a really powerful card, just widespread destruction. Now, one thing worth mentioning here is that one of the big expectations people had for the oncoming ban list was that Terratop would be limited. This is because Terratop appeared in the January OCG list as an attempt to slow down Zodiacs at that time, as a limited card, and as such, a lot of people in TCG have been somewhat offloading their Terror Top engines, and that, combined with the recent reprints in Starfoil, has led to a price drop. So that's interesting. And that actually brings me on to something a little bit later on that I'm going to be talking about. So I'll come back to that. So anyway, 7 months of waiting and we finally get another ban list. It's pretty balanced, not too out there, which is way more than I can say for the OCG ban list, which was announced not long ago. The highlight of the Japanese list, unlike our list, is that Zodiacs were just completely murdered. Now, in case you haven't seen it, in the OCG list, Zodiac Barrage, the spell card, continuous spell, that searches any card from the deck and special summons it, and Zodiac Trident were both banned, which is really significant. And Rapier, Zodiac Rapier was limited, the key card in the set, and that totally destroys the deck. Not only does it do that, it eliminates any hope of anyone using it as an engine as well, because, you know, having a card that's 0/0 attack and defense, its only effect is to bring out another version of itself, but you can only have one in the deck. Suddenly it becomes a dead card. So yeah, really harsh in Japan, but nothing like that with our list. But that said, it may be something that hits TCG a little later down the line, in a few months perhaps. We've not had Zodiacs as long as the Japanese had them, so yeah, we might be seeing something coming like that in a few months' time. That is, if we don't have to wait another 7 months this time. But who knows? We'll see. So moving back onto links, there's been a more solid clarification of the link summoning rules that came out a few weeks ago. So I know I've already been over links so many times now, and I really don't want to repeat myself, but I do need to now state that a belief I previously held, a speculation I made regarding summoning and links, is now being proven to be untrue. That is regarding improper summons. I had speculated, and a number of people had agreed with me, that improper summons, such as through effects like Blue-Eye Spirit Dragon, Ultimate Tolkien, and so on, I speculated that they might be exempt from link summoning mechanic because they're not proper summons, but clarification that came out a few weeks ago said that improper summons are not exempt from the link summoning. Anything that is being summoned from the extra deck, whether it's a pendulum monster coming from the top of the extra deck or an extra deck monster being summoned for the first time, they need either to go into the extra monster zone or they need a link on the main field. So that's it's quite a significant clarification. It really does kill things like the Ultimate Tolkien play with Crystal Wing. It's just not going to happen anymore. And the final thing I want to add regarding links is something which a lot of people have asked about in comments and so on, and that is regarding tokens. So can they be used for link summoning? Does this make Scapegoat broken, etc., etc.? Well, we now know that you can in fact use tokens as materials for link summoning. That has been clarified. However, before you start pulling out your scapegoats, do be aware that as far as I know, so far the only link monster that can actually be summoned with generic tokens is Link Spider, and it's just the Link 1 monster that only has, obviously being a Link 1 monster, only has one link zone. So in other words, it doesn't really make links, it doesn't break the link summoning mechanic using tokens. You can only get one monster that in turn only gives you one extra deck zone. It doesn't change anything really. You know, I can see it being used, but that said, it's not going to be that good. So now, I quickly want to mention the next set releasing for us, which is Duelist Saga. This is a set which I've had my eye on for quite some time now, really since it was announced back before Christmas. And as a lot of the cards in the set are now being revealed, it's worth mentioning just how nice this set is. Unsurprisingly, we have another Blue Eyes and another Dark Magician Ultra Rare reprint. It seems to have a million of those, but whatever. I do like Blue Eyes White Dragon, so But beyond that, we've got some really impressive reprints, Trishula, namely, and MX Saber Invoker. Now that is a card which needed a price drop. And since Terratop hasn't been hit on the list, it's really one to be looking out for in that set. It's really important for, obviously, Zodiac, but going beyond that, Subterras make really good use of that engine as well in order to bring out Nemesis Warrior. So beyond the reprints, which make up 30% of the set, there are a load of new interesting cards that are being released. Some of them are completely wacky, but others like this present some interesting new potential moves. There are a few new cards in here to complement popular decks. Here we have a counterpart to Mizuki, which has been seen a lot of use primarily in zombie synchro decks. So do check out this set. I think it's going to be worth it. Another thing to mention is that there's a trap being released in it, which lets you search for Harpy's Feather Duster. Obviously not seen that in a while in the TCG, and that is Harpy's Feather Storm. So it just lets you search for and add a Harpy's Feather Duster from your deck to your or graveyard to your hand. So that would imply, if it's being released in TCG, that, I mean, obviously Harpy's Feather Duster is banned at the moment, so are we going to see it come back? Is it going to get an errata? Well, it's not been announced yet, but this set is reprinting a lot of old cards from every series of the anime, so you never know. Just a speculation, but considering this card is being released in TCG, we may get an errated version of Harpy's Feather Duster or something like that, so that's something worth considering as well. So as I said, do check out this set. It does look really interesting. Well, that's all for today. Some pretty significant news coming out from the regarding the ban list. I'm sure everyone has an opinion on it. Comments are below, so fire away. And once again, I'm Arthur Julius Pendragon, and thank you for watching.